Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new week. Welcome to the London live session. It's a Monday here. We are ready for a great week. It was okay. So I did do a Sunday breakdown, whether you watched it or not. We will go over the analysis here again. So today there's no news, alright. And for the rest of the week, it's pretty quiet. Up until Thursday, we have unemployment claims for USD, and then Friday we have core CPI for USD, both in the afternoon. In terms of news, I don't see any high impact headlines. So let's get into it here. For the analysis here, our weekly candle on gold closed bearish last week. It is just a doji candle, but looking at the previous week as well, we had an exhaustion wick up into this area. Okay, so we were pushing up, we are now consolidating. Last week's candle did close bearish, so that is some confirmation to continue this push down here, but we need a break of last week's low to really confirm a push back into support here, because as of right now we are just consolidating within this range, your resistance and your support. Okay, we did close bearish last week Friday, and we should expect to see today's candle drive down, possibly into support here. So we've pushed up now, and looking to this level over here, we've tapped into that previous daily level. Also looking further left here, you had quite a lot of reaction to this area. We formed a support over there, and we broke below, formed a resistance. As you can see, a lot of rejections to that area. Our 4-hour candle did close quite strong here, but like I say, that could just be a wick up for the daily candle to come back down and drive down to support here. So right now we do have a definite area where price is reacting to. This is our resistance at the moment. We've got a support down here, and anticipating this bearish momentum to continue on from this resistance here, we should push down to support. Okay, we are moving already. The only thing I don't like about this is our current candle has no wick to the top. Okay, so going to hold off here from entering on the break of the previous hourly low, but you could see price begin to drive down as we break that previous hourly low. Looking at it from this perspective, we have a support here on a 15-minute, and I'd like to see a closure below that support instead of the impulse on the break of the low. It is a Monday here. We're still early in the month, so we'll take it slow. Looking at this as your next support. Below that level we also have pretty clean traffic moving down to 1844. course, on a 30-minute, you could move this support slightly lower, alright, but we'll get into that as we move closer to the zone. As of now, I'm going to leave it at the hourly level, because if we do take sales below this minor support here, this will be our target. Okay, so sticking with the higher time frame here, looking for sales. Excuse me. Of course, like I say, if your daily candle flips bearish or breaks Friday's low, we should get a nice push down to support here. I've broken it down here on the lower time frames, excuse me. We do have a minor support at this level now, so we'd like a closure below that level to begin to move down to your next support here. Below that support, we've got a target here at 1844, and below 1844 it is a little bit tricky. You've got a lot of rejection in this area here, but looking on a 30-minute, it's quite clean below support here to 1839.6. Below 1839.6, you can expect to see price move all the way down to 1829, 1830. So this year we've seen a lot of really strong moves on Monday, pre-London and London session. Maybe we get that volume back today. The 4-hour did close bullish, so price could possibly drive up here. In terms of buys, it's gonna get tricky. So I'm not too sure how I feel about buys now with the way the daily candle sits. But like I say, your 4-hour does give us an indication that price could drive further up here. Looking left, we do have a lot of reaction to this level I've marked up at 1863. So we could possibly, as we break above this level here at 1856.8, as you can see, we had a lot of reaction to that level. We could begin to move up into that level. Okay, and looking here on a 15 minute, you do have this reaction level here. You'll see it probably better on a 5 minute. You can see how price tapped into that level, tapped into it again. Since I am bearish, I'm not looking for price to move up all this way, but we could possibly take advantage of bars within this range here. It is about 30 pips moving up, so we'll see about that. Let's have a look at GJ for now. So yesterday in the analysis, the idea was that our new weekly candle should drive down, form quite a steep bottom wick, possibly into some of these areas here. As you can see, this range over here, expecting to see price possibly push to the bottom of that little range there to form the lower wick for the week to then drive up. So we closed above this daily resistance here, and we have stayed above last week Friday, but we've got quite a strong wick there, and looking on a 4-hour, we are beginning to drive down here. So we could just see a slight correction of some of this move, possibly, like I say, into this level to then drive further on up. And then looking at these wicks here on the lower time frame, it is obviously quite a strong level. Above there you've got really nice clean traffic back into some of these areas here. So that's what we'll be looking for the week. Today we could be taking advantage of some of this correction here, so possibly a counter trend trade on the cards. Right now we've got a support down here. If this daily does flip bullish again, we could still be looking for buys here. So the previous 4-hour candle respected the support level. Okay, we had quite a strong drive down, which ended up being a fake out on the 1-hour time frame. As you can see here, we broke below this level, we broke back into the range, and we have now pushed back into the support. So you could see a support form around this area. For price to then drive back up here. So overall, our bias here is bullish, but just looking at structure here, we are starting to get some bearish structure in the mix. We do have a pretty strong wick rejection here on the daily into this area of previous rejection. And looking at this move up, like I said, we could possibly see some pullback here early in the week. Since we had a very strong push up last week, we could see a slight correction of that before we drive further on up into these highs here. So pretty straightforward. We're planning for possible buys and possible sells here on GJ. You've got a support down here to target, but But looking in this range, we've got quite a lot of mess. Moving down here in this range, it's a lot cleaner, only 17 pips, but we'll see what we can do with that if we do break below support. I actually do prefer bars looking at the higher time frame. Your 4 hour could just be pulling down to create this bottom wick to then drive up. So we'll see if we do form a support on this area. Okay, so that level there is our weekly level. We'll keep an eye on that level as we move up. It's possibly our first target. So it looks like your hourly is flipping back bullish. Like I say, we had that fake out and we've pulled back in to support here. Had a reaction off of support to possibly drive further up. So let's see how our 30-minute candle closes. Looks like a pretty strong rejection off of that previous support here. So we've got about 9 minutes for our 30-minute candle closure here, and then we'll see what we can do here on GJ. Gold's still in this range here, but like I say, waiting for a closure below support. We've had a resistance form on the hourly time frame, but of course the initial momentum here was bullish. Okay, here was the opening for the daily candle. We pushed up, we've now closed bullish. So obviously on a lower time frame that is bullish structure. So now that we have formed the resistance on an hourly, okay, you're seeing a pullback in this bullish lower time frame structure. Of course now we formed that support. So in theory, in an uptrend you're forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. You should form support and then should form a higher high. But if this hourly resistance, looking at a higher time frame now, does stand and we do drive down from this point, you should see price basically ignore this lower time frame support. We should close below that level and then drive down. So we have formed a support on the lower time frame, but we are waiting to see if price will invalidate that support. This current candle has obviously tapped into support, broken the highs here to move on up. So of course that is quite a nice setup for buyers, but our bias here is bearish. gonna lie, it looks very nice for bars. But waiting for the 30-minute candle closure here regardless. If you are taking bars off of here or above this resistance, I am expecting to see volume push price through these minor levels here up to our next resistance. But of course this is a area to be careful of. Looking on a 4 hour, this ties in with your 4 hour resistance. There should be enough range here to take a trade, but we might just get involved here off of this support. Looking at the 4 hour, like I say, your previous 4 hour respected the support. Our new 4 hour has tapped back into support, and we are now showing signs of rejection here to possibly drive further up. Shot Jared, good morning, how's it, man? Only saw your comment now. I really need to figure out how to get these the chat on the stream here. Good morning to everyone else joining here on a Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Your 30-minute candle is about to close. Things are lining up quite nicely here. "30 seconds to go." So it looks like both pairs are setting up here. Pretty difficult to decide which is a better option here. Looking at a 4-hour, both pairs are in some sort of consolidation at the moment, but at the same time we do have a trend on both pairs here. So your 30-minute has closed. Looks like GJ is pushing straight up. Okay, so gold, no top wick. We'll wait for that top wick here on the 30-minute and then enter on the break of the low of the previous hourly candle here. Looking at about a 20 pip stop here on gold. So sell stops at 18.53.750, but we are waiting for that top wick to form first, so sell stops are not entered just yet. We'll wait for that top wick before we set the sell stop. Okay, so at this point we have our top wick here for the 30-minute. So that sell stop right now is looking pretty good. Stop loss above your previous 30-minute candle. And then for targets, I mean, your target for the week is going to definitely be the weekly low here. Possibly for the day, should I say. Expecting price to push down to support. But with the way the 4-hour candle is looking, we'll be cautious with this and just possibly grab some pips here and then let a runner run down to our final target. Sell stop at 18.53.750. Stop loss will be at 18.55.750. 20 pips. Let's have a look at GJ here. So yeah, GJ really moved up quite nicely here. You know, if you had an entry on the closure of that candle, you would have been in a pretty great trade here, but this really moved up very quickly. Pretty much from your closure, it just rocketed up. But the analysis was definitely valid. We can wait for 9 o'clock here. You should probably see some continuation of this momentum. So we'll leave GJ alone until 9 o'clock. Gold, we've got our sell stops in here with a 20 pip stop loss. Looks like we are about to get triggered. Okay, should be in round about now. GJ just skyrocketed. Damn. So, probably going to wait for a closure above 163,700 on GJ here. Yeah, I'm pretty good too, Jared. Okay, so if we do break the high of this current candle, we'll close some of our position here just to manage risk. At about 12 pips. If you're on the stream here last week, the analysis was to pretty much push down and create this bottom wick for this 4 hour here. We didn't have that bottom wick from the day before, so we were anticipating a pretty strong push down and for price to push into the nearest support to that area, which was here at 1855, which I think, where was our trade last week? For London session, we were in sells below this level, somewhere around here, grabbed about 20 pips. We did have a pullback pre-New York, and then this was all NFP driving down into our target for the day. Your 15 minute is about to close in 2.5 minutes. As long as we're closing below support, we should be pretty safe. If we close bullish and then break the high, we'll close the entire trade. But if we close below support, we will not have to manage that aggressively. So yeah, at 1855 we'll close half. If this candle happens to close above support here and then we break above this previous candle now, we will close full as we tap into 1855. your half an hour could always pull back and form a steeper wick and disrespect the 15-minute candle low. I mean the 15-minute candle high. 15 minutes, as you can see, you can break the 15-minute highs and then still drive down. But just in terms of managing risk here, as we were uptrending here on the lower time frame, so you could consider this a counter trend trade. Although looking at the daily candle, we are trading with the current momentum here. Looking at Friday's close, there was a lot of bearish momentum, so we've had that wick up for the day. We should see price begin to move down here. Pretty happy with how this 15-minute is closing. If we do break the low of this previous 15-minute candle, we should be in a pretty a pretty good position here to drive down to 1850, 1851. It's a bit cold. My lips are struggling to move.